Hi there, my name is Michael. Many people who know me and what I've created in the past have asked me a simple question: who is Zana? And that question infuses meaning into my life on a daily basis, for we've been together for many years and co-created a lot of beautiful spaces and places together. So within that context of our co-creation, I would like to answer that question and share it with you. So Zana is many things. She is an emissary of the truth, a vehicle for its expression as beauty. She is a master of master plans, which connect to all the energies of a space, a place, the land, the beings there, and the humans who may already and who wish to be there. And she's an artist, a natural artist of the harmonious energy that flows through a space. So when we co-create together, the result is so much more than the sum of the parts. It's a energy that expands exponentially and introduces and offers and invites something entirely new in the world. These are some ways that I could describe her, but what she does and shares and brings to this world is actually so much more than that. So this video is a natural attempt to share this with you. Enjoy. Almost 8 years ago, Zana and I came together and formed Zemark Design. And in the time since, we have co-created and collaborated on many projects all over the world for individuals, couples and groups seeking to embrace the full potential of their vision. Within this, it's relatively well known what the role, as it were, of an architect or even bioarchitect is. But what's a little less clear is what does a holistic designer do? And more specifically, what is it that Zana does, professionally and personally, to bring the gifts that she holds and exudes so wonderfully into the process of procurement of the dream of so many people. And this video is seeking to answer that in a way that would encompass the truth of it. And here we go. However, in order to do so with any hope of holistic success, I'm going to need to ask you to imagine something. And imagine that there is a field of information, a source of being that encapsulates all that was, all that is, all that will be. And this field we can call the truth. And this field is not a truth. It doesn't concern itself with beliefs, with thoughts, with concepts. It is a total field of being, as I've said already. Again, you can see the difficulties of language here. But this field contains all potentiality, all physicality, all expressions of source, to the fullest extent of our capacity to experience it at a sensory level and far beyond. So first, imagine that this field exists. Perhaps it's not hard, perhaps you've already touched it and felt it. Okay, so if you've got to this point, imagine that our biological systems, which are of course integral to and extensions of this field of truth, that they are specifically tuned, our bodies are tuned to not just align with, because that would suggest something coming together with something else, but they are expressions of and in harmony with and within this field of truth. And within our bodies are all the systems and cells and memories and water and all the apparently separate components of life in movement. And each cell is able to integrate and feel and absorb and be part of the expression of this truth, of this source field. And so that's two levels of imagination that are required. One is that this field exists, and two, that our bodies, being part of that field, are tuned to receive and express the information. Now take it a step further. Imagine that some individuals, some humans, have an awareness and an innate capacity to operate from a place of conscious interaction with this ever-changing field of energy and information. And then imagine, another level again, that there is an intention, a pure, source-driven intention to express the totality of this field, this source energy, initially to be felt through the body, and then to be symbolized and verbalized in a way that allows it to be communicated and actioned upon. So these levels of imagination, hopefully you're still with me, that we got to the point of intention. And imagine if the intention is to create beauty, to create harmony, to holistically embrace and introduce a possibility for people where they can touch the point of potential that is drenched with source inspiration. Now we're getting close to being able to describe what Zana does, because Zana is absolutely one of those people, and I have quite honestly never met anyone like her who has the purest of intentions and importantly, the capacity to action and purpose that intention for the goodness of all, for the evolution of consciousness and its expression in physical form. So what does that mean professionally? Okay, so let's give an example. When a client, be it an individual, a group, a couple, whatever, come to us with a desire to create something, that desire is welling up from them, and that too is a source invitation that is seeking expression through them. And the field of truth that is forever knocking on the door, massaging the senses, that's available, but most of us are too distracted or too, how would you say it? Basically not so open and able to receive the purest of informational flows because of multiple reasons. So when a couple or a client come and they have this desire, within that desire, of course it's coming from them, but there is also a lot of filters, a lot of loadings, whether it be the perceived limitations of the site, the budget, the municipal limits and requirements, many factors, what people will think, what's allowed, what's buildable, what's going to be able to be built by the available resources, etc. So many factors coming in there, yet still they would express this desire to create something special, something beautiful. And in order to navigate that path, the old school approach would be to try and accumulate and assimilate all the obvious factors and then maybe dive a little deeper and get some hidden understandings. And then trying to form a pathway to success that seeks to optimize the information and the factors involved in an intelligent, practical, and hopefully aesthetically convincing way. However, what Zana does is, once she chooses to drop into a state of receptivity, the totality of being basically comes right in her door. That literally she opens her heart without preconception, presupposition, conditions, and receives the totality of truth in a very, how see, this is where I'm struggling myself to describe it, but it comes to her and communicates directly with her physiology. And a combination of knowings and feelings and intuitive impulses, coupled with a instantaneous capacity to process it with the mind, and long before it's sought to be expressed as words necessarily, it's felt and she can absorb it. That openness and that initial sensitivity allows her to fly, literally, in and within and throughout the field of truth pertaining specifically to the project. And that means that the land or the site or the location or the environmental situation has an almost infinite amount of information pertaining to it. That comes in non-destructively, that comes in holistically, that comes in coherently. And that which is needed to be felt and understood and appreciated and integrated presents itself very clearly. Add to that, guys, add to that the sole intent of the clients, of the people involved, their wishes, their missions, their desires, their impulses to actually manifest and be the locus vector for this manifestation. That too is felt. Anything that might inhibit or limit or filter that is also felt. For example, some unconscious fears or doubts or preconceived notions about how it should unfold, etc. Zana feels that too. So you've got the land speaking, you've got the people involved speaking. But also there are other fields. There are fields that we mentioned before, the apparent limits of things like budget, municipal requirements, etc., and what's actually physically buildable. That too is part of the mix. So imagine this, actually technically an infinite amount of information, coalescing and forming a vision of what would be the optimal expression, form, presentation from this totality of feeling and being. So if you take the truth with a capital T, which, as we said, exists beyond opinion, belief, thinking, concepts, etc., how can that actually take a step towards manifest reality? Well, it can do so through three vectors, if that's the right word, or three modes of expression. So that can be beauty, that is beauty, wisdom, and love. Again, this is where Zana expands the realm of possibility into probability, into certainty, and into manifestation. Because the love is the connective energy, the field of oneness. The wisdom is the path of least resistance, the natural organization of thoughts and movements into a systemic, sequential pathway towards optimal truth and expression. And beauty. So you've got beauty, wisdom, and love. And the beauty, that's amazing. Like, this is where nothing can be added or removed except to make it worse. That there is a perfect combination and integrative, coherent, holistic, physical expression of elements and components that come together in such a way to optimize the final presentation. So she feels, connects with, and fully integrates the truth, and then expresses that through words, through images, through symbols, through body movement, through the full scope and scale of her skills to communicate, which are quite advanced and quite extensive, and is able to express that through wisdom, which can be practical, financial, logistical, and again, to use that word holistic, I'm conscious I'm running out of words at this point, but the wisdom is beyond cleverness. It's beyond even intelligence. It's a holistic intelligence that takes all parts into consideration. So through beauty and wisdom and love, she is able to connect with and access the fullest potential of any design potential, design wish, as it were. So when the process that might be a little more mundane in terms of the architecture, which is a tool of the capacity that Zana would be purposing, when that architecture begins to move, when forms begin to emerge, this connectivity that Zana has acts as a waveguide, as a navigation tool. So as the design, let's call it, or the concept begins to touch base, information continues to come in, but also that which is presenting from other vectors is immediately and sensitively scanned for the truth. And if it's deviating slightly, Zana has the capacity and the ability to sense that and adjust the navigation. It can be quite subtle. It can also take the form of a physiological response that, no, this is not the way forward, this is not the vector that will optimize success. And that is amazing. So when you combine the practical professional skills of all the necessary tools, the bioarchitecture, the other design methods and modalities of manifestation, when you take the formation of physical space and how that might evolve over a construction period, and then you cover that with the wisdom of logical systemic practicality, the love and the connection between the land, the elements of the land, the spirit realm, as it were, the people, past, present and future, all involved. And then when you wrap that again, or exude it with visual harmony, aesthetic optimization, the choices of materials and colors and other components and relationships between all of the elements that are presenting in the design, the beauty, in other words, and that holistic movement guiding the architectural expression is a profound synthesis of what is actually possible as we humans seek to create a new world. So it's a long answer, I get that, but it's necessary to navigate with and through it, because what does Zana do professionally? She does all of what I described and more, because the more is the unknown that's still there and also knocking on the door. The unknown is that what could be. So when you collapse the past, present and future and feel into the totality of this moment's potential, the unknown is still waiting to be seen, received and actioned. And for me, as an architect stroke bioarchitect with some years experience, it is a momentous opportunity to co-create with her. It opens me continuously to a way of serving the ongoing expression of collective truth, and in that process is pretty much also continuously threatening my limited beliefs, threatening my settings, my architectural understandings, my preconceived notions about geometry, for example, and formic integrity. So for me it is simultaneously exciting and terrifying, because with the fullness of time I can see the necessity and the beautiful opportunity of expanding what I do in service to what we do. And Zana gifts that to me on a daily basis, not through merely professional design interaction, but be personal and to be honest, in every aspect and component of my life. So I'm extremely grateful and seeking to share this potential with you as an understanding. I hope I've done so. I wish to say that I really do wish to say that I am beyond honored, if that's the right word. Even that seems limited. I'm absolutely privileged and humbled by the opportunity to co-create with her. I am simultaneously very much aware of the limits of my capacity to open to it fully, and that is an ongoing process which has only good benefit the results of. So it would be wonderful that this gives you some better sense of what Zana is professionally and how she operates professionally. And whilst the results of a so-called normal architectural process is generally seen in the drawings and documents that emerge from it, what Zana brings is a depth of meaning that extends far beyond anything that might be immediately evident to the receiver. And I would certainly wish for you and for anybody who might be watching this to, in the future, to open to this potential. Know it exists and it has been fully actioned in real terms. And maybe it can also bring you some sense of your own potential, knowing that someone like Zana is here and operating in this way. Thank you for your time and attention. If you've got this far, I sense that you will have a new appreciation of what's possible. Thank you.